Hi, it's Lau again. I want to talk to you about the nature of your body. Taoists believe that you have three bodies. There is a gross or physical body. There is a subtle, sometimes known as the energy body, or even sometimes the mental body. And then there's the etheric, sometimes known as the spiritual body, which would be more like your consciousness, but beyond the identity. The subtle, gross, and etheric, or heaven, man, and earth bodies have an interaction with each other that are actually not so complex, but it takes a minute to kind of think about and to sort of order them. Most people identify with this, with our body as you see it here, and they think that what this body does is what affects other things. And there is an affectation to it, but the physical body itself is actually only an effect of your subtle body, known as the energy body, or your consciousness body, and then it's an effect of your etheric or spiritual body. There's the three bodies, and they're ruled by the three minds, and there's the three breaths. We're going to talk about the bodies, though, today. When we practice things like Qigong or Tai Chi, we are moving our hands and we're trying to move the body in order to affect the subtle energies of us. And this isn't wrong, but this isn't complete. You do not affect the subtle through the gross. You affect the gross from the subtle, and the subtle uses the gross to affect itself. So the body is simply a tool. Our body is no different than what ice is to water and steam. Your spirit, your soul, and your physical body are the same thing in three different states: gaseous or vapor, liquid, and solid. The same can be extrapolated or corresponded to with your body. Your conscious projection affects your physical body. Inflammation comes from stress. Now, some people say no, inflammation comes from what you eat. Why do you eat what you eat? Why do you choose those things? They don't come and put themselves into you. The diet soda doesn't throw itself in your body. Eating 4 candy bars, in an afternoon doesn't throw itself in your body. Why did you choose those things? We have stress, and the stress makes inflammation. Stress can be a physical stress, going too long without food, not sleeping properly, things we've talked about in the other videos on foundations. There's emotional stress, where we try to control everything around us. And when we resign as general manager of the universe, we de-stress ourselves from those things. When we try to control everything because we can't control ourselves, we create an emotional, sometimes a mental stress. Our mental stress, where we try to figure out and understand everything and think we're the cause of everything. And the list goes on and on and on. And these stressors then create inflammation, emotional inflammation, right? Somebody's on edge, somebody's tense all the time, they're emotionally inflamed. Mental inflammation or physical, but one will eventually leak into the others and create all of them. When you have emotional inflammation, you have physical inflammation. When you have mental inflammation, you have emotional and physical. It's just, you cannot have one without the other. It's impossible. If you have pollution in steam and you condense that steam, some of that pollution will condense into the water. And if you take that water and it's full of dirt and the pollution and you freeze it, it'll be in the ice. It's the same way with us. So, when we carry these inflammation, we create more stress, which creates more inflammation, and then our body produces a hormone called cortisol. The cortisol, which is called the death hormone, it's one that wakes you up, it's one that makes you hungry enough to go kill. It's an ancient hormone in us. Then the body has to react to that cortisol, and so it dumps the liver, the glycogen stores, which is why you get hungry for sweets around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or right before bed. And then for your body to be able to take in that glycogen, to be able to take in that blood sugar, in order, your body has to, the pancreas has to put out the insulin. Over and over and over again with the insulin, the body becomes desensitized to the insulin, which eventually creates type 2 diabetes. But the burning of the glycogen and the burning and the absorption of the insulin and the cortisol creates a lot of toxicity in the body, in the mind, and the emotions. And the body holds water so it can dilute the cortisol, try to get rid of all these toxins, and fat, which emulsifies the toxins to get them away from your blood system, to protect you. And that creates more stress and inflammation. And you have a self-feeding dragon. Now, how do we break this? The key to breaking it is in the stress and inflammation cycle. Inflammation comes because we work ourselves into a very hot mode. Heat makes things expand. Heat makes things rise. Heat brings things up. To keep ourselves from that cycle, we must build in things that ground us, that condense us, that make us more focused. Whereas heat makes us expand and diffuse, and all out here, concentration, everything brings us down here. And it can be simple things. I'm going to show you one technique that comes from a very powerful system called Hunyuan. But I'm just going to teach you one. There are 12. This one you will find is very useful. You start with your hands thusly, palms facing down right about your waist. And the hands are going to turn, they're going, and you're going to breathe in. The mechanics of this breathing in is that all of the lungs are capable of expanding. The weight of the shoulders is off the lungs. So when we, and the hands are going to go over our head. If you take the apex of your ear and you go all the way up to the center of your head, this is called Baihui. Go 1 inch in front of it. This is Du 21. You're going to place your hands in front of Du 21 and picture rays of light coming to that point. You're just going to hold it there for a second, letting this light, letting this, you say, wow, this is just your imagination. Yes, if you're talking about this, but remember, if you've got 3 bodies, the imagination and the affectation of the imagination affects that subtle body. So it's how the subtle body affects itself, and it uses the gross body to do that, because the subtle affects the gross. If you think it's all in your head, well, of course, the whole universe is all in your head. Your job is to work with these processes instead of mowing them, because if you don't accept that these processes are all mental, emotional consciousness, then you think this is all there is, you're going to have a very long ride on this place, and you're going to end up with a lot of issues. This is not the end-all, be-all of this universe, and you know that. So when you have your hands here and you're seeing this light come down, you can see like smoke and energy and turbidity. You can see all that here. That's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to clean that out. So we're going to go, and as we exhale, this clear energy that's above our hands, we're pushing and using that clear energy to push all the turbidity down. So all this now is clear and all this now is turbid. And we're going to take it to our navel here. We're going to hold it there for a second. So everything above us is clear and clean. Everything below us is turbid. And we're just going to hold it there. Now, in between the organs, right? The liver, the gallbladder, we have the stomach, we have the spleen, the pancreas behind the stomach, we have the small intestines, the large intestines, we have the diaphragm, the lungs, we have the heart. All of these things in the pleural cavity or the parietal cavity, all of these things were basically holding energy, holding tension. How is the body being able to stay tense? Because there's energy. We have to release that energy and let it be reabsorbed into the organ so that it can function better. But the organ may be hypofunctional because the energy necessary to run that particular organ may be being stored in your fascia, waiting for the next blow of life to come. So here, we're just going to relax our belly. We're just going to move our hips a bit. We're just going to open our chest. We're going to let ourselves relax. And after a few seconds of relaxation, take your hands. The turbidity is still down here, the clear is still up here, and push all that turbidity out. It's going to go out your fingertips as well as your knees. Then males, place your right hand this time. This is the original chi, so it's going to be your right hand. Women, your left hand here, and you're going to hold it. So let's do that again. Just see the clear, just see the light, just see the peaceful. And then exhale. Pushing the turbid, pushing, right? Shadow has to recede when light approaches. It has no choice. Turn the light on and the shadow has to be dispelled. There's no choice. This is how the universe works. And just sit and hold this. If you do this 3 times in the morning, 3 times, you have to do it 3 times in the evening, or 6 times, or 9 times, just those little amounts, you'll start to find huge relief, because you are manually using the gross body. You're manually manipulating the sympathetic fight or flight, parasympathetic rest and digest portions of your nervous system. The more you get into the rest and digest, the more you get into the parasympathetic, the nerve roots in your spine relax, you become more functional in your nervous system, you become more functional in your muscular skeletal system, you become more functional in your lymphatic system, because when you tighten up, you literally cut these things off. But when you relax, the stress, the cortisol, all of it comes down. Disease is bad enough, but pouring cortisol on is like pouring nuclear fuel on a fire. It's terrible. These practices, 3, 6, or 9 times a day, are of tremendous effect. If you get sick, a cold or whatever, do them 36 times. You're sick. What else you got to do? Even if you say, well, I'm in bed and I can't move very well and all, close your eyes and do it mentally. Close your eyes and do it mentally. See yourself doing it. Even if you can't move your hands, do it mentally. Because again, this is for the subtle body, which then projects out and manifests in the gross body. Okay? If you have any questions, please email me, or don't hesitate to ask. You can put them in the comment section, or you can email me at lau@4dragonschool.com. Otherwise, we'll see you again next time.